welcome back to the motherfucking Astro experience, bro. I'm so excited to be um uh getting back into YouTube, okay? Now, it feels like every time I make a video, I'm in like a different location in a different spot, all right? But it's good to change things up. I am a Sagittarius rising and moon, all right? And a conjunct. Um, but let's get into these transits, right? So it's July 9th, 2026, okay? First and foremost, Jupiter, there's a lot going on right now. And if you see me look down, I'm looking at the transits, okay? So first and foremost, I want to look at Venus, okay? Um, Venus is still in Leo at the time of this recording. By the time you see this, Venus is probably in Virgo, all right? So Venus represents value. Venus represents love, sensuality, and pleasure, all right? Virgo is day-to-day routines. Virgo is health. Virgo is service to others as well. So for the past few months, we've really been focused on our expressions, all right? How can we most optimally express ourselves and our creativities and our true desires as well, all right? But with Venus going into Virgo, we're going to be experiencing a lot of need for health, okay? Especially with the fact that Venus is directly trining Chiron, all right? We're going to touch on Chiron a little bit more later, but right now, Chiron is the wounded healer within astrology, okay? So with Chiron trining Venus and Venus being in Virgo, healing is very, very, very emphasized right now within the collective, you know? Healing ourselves on a physical level because Chiron is in Taurus. Taurus is a very physical sign. Venus is going to be in Virgo for the next month to month and a half. So Virgo is also a physical sign. Keeping up with your health, all right? Staying disciplined, staying on a routine, staying on a schedule. That's very important. What are you doing for your health right now? For your physical body, for your mental health as well, because Mercury rules Virgo, okay? Perfect confirmation. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is a planet of thinking, communication, and analyzing. So what are you doing to maintain your mental, physical, and even emotional health during this time, okay? So things like affirmations, speaking to yourself, self-care, self-love, making yourself feel comforted, making yourself feel safe, okay? That's very important right now. So with Venus going into Virgo, we're also going to be honing in on the details of our lives, you know, really making sure that the timeline that we're on is quote unquote perfected, you know, because Virgo is a very perfectionist kind of energy, you feel me? Venus is all about value, so naturally we're going to value refining and perfecting those aspects of our lives that need more attention, okay? Now, moving back into Chiron, right? Because Chiron just moved into Taurus like within the past few weeks. Chiron is a wounded healer. Taurus is about stability, practicality, foundation, comfort, love, sensuality, values, physical pleasures, possessions, money, resources, all of the above. Okay? So, especially with us star seeds, we've experienced a lot of physical instability growing up within our lives, okay? So Chiron and Taurus is really calling us to heal those stability wounds that we have, you know? Taurus is about self-worth as well. So how are you valuing yourself right now? Are you truly valuing yourself how you need to be? Really ask yourself that question, because that's a question that is only going to arise from your inner knowing. Are you truly valuing yourself at the moment? That's what Chiron and Taurus is all about. And then, the moon is in Taurus right now. The moon is going to be in Taurus for probably the next day and a half. That also adds to that energy. But, on a more grander scale, stability as a whole is really emphasized right now. Really focusing on the day-to-day routine of things, right? So there is absolutely some earth energy within our collective right now, but there's a lot of water energy as well. Because we are in Cancer season, okay? Now I'm gonna touch on that actually. So the sun is in Cancer right now, okay? Mercury is also retrograde within Cancer. Mercury retrogrades can be very interesting, can be very challenging to go through. I'm noticing that this Mercury retrograde specifically is really calling for very deep introspective for really everybody, honestly. It's calling for everybody to look inside of themselves a little bit more. You may feel like you're kind of in hermit mode right now, especially if you're a Virgo or a Gemini, okay? Because Mercury rules these two signs, okay? So take the time for yourself if you truly need to, okay? Journal, meditate, reflect, sit with yourself during this time, all right? Sit in stillness, honestly. And make sure that you nurture yourself emotionally, okay? Because Cancer is a water sign. Taurus is about nurturing, but more so nurturing from a physical point of view. Cancer is nurturing from an emotional point of view because the moon rules Cancer, okay? So what are you doing for self-care during this time? That's really a big question. Really care for yourself. Look after yourself. And I always say that you need to treat yourself like somebody that you love. Treat yourself like you're your own kid, Whenever your kid is going through something mentally or emotionally, you don't shun them. You don't judge them. You don't shame them into doing better. You offer them support and love, and encouragement as well. And of course, that can come with some masculine guidance when it's needed, but you're really going to love your child, all right? So really love yourself during this time. That's very important, okay? So Mercury retrograde, yeah, and then especially with Mercury being so close to the sun, is going to highlight a lot of the actions that you've been taking that aren't necessarily in alignment with your self-value and your self-worth, okay? So pay attention to that as well. And the last placement that I wanted to go over is Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter is going to be in Leo for I think about a year if I'm not mistaken, because Jupiter is a generational sign, okay? I mean, no, it's fuck. Jupiter is a social planet, okay? Jupiter is a social planet. Jupiter stays in Leo for about a year, okay? So Jupiter is going to be in Leo until about July next year, okay? Moving into June. So for this next year, self-expression is really emphasized, okay? So fire energy is going to be important when it comes to your self-expression because Jupiter is all about expansion. Leo is about expressions. So how can you expand your expressions during this time, okay? That's very important. Very fiery energy. Even though we are in a water season, there's a lot of fire energy that is coming through us, okay? So as long as you're nurturing yourself and caring for yourself and treating yourself kindly, you know, just allow those fiery expressions to come out of you because those are your creations. Whether it comes to singing, dancing, fucking tap dancing, ballet, drawing, painting, making noodle necklaces, whatever it is, you know, that's going to help you become more stable within yourself. And the more that you are stable within yourself, the easier abundance can find you, okay? Because Jupiter is also about abundance. So the key to receiving abundance is through expression and creativity, all right? So be yourself to your fullest capacity, all right? So that's, I think that's good for now. Energetic update of July 9th, 2026. I will catch y'all next video.